Great new day to all my self-care friends and family. Welcome back to another Room2Breathe podcast. I am your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so happy that you made space to be here with us today. Now, before we jump into today's episode, do me a quick favor. If you are feeling the vibe, go ahead and show some love. You can do so by tapping the screen, liking, commenting, but most importantly, share this live out with anyone who may need a little healing energy today. And remember, if this is your first time here or you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that follow button. Subscribe to our channel so that way you're always tapped in when a new episode drops. I also invite you to personally take a moment to just go to our website at selfcareclub.org, where you will find everything from affirmative apparel to motivational merch, as well as a ton of free resources to help nourish your growth and remind you that you are supported every step of the way. Just know that you don't have to do this alone. We are healing in community, growing, one breath, one moment, one day at a time. So today, I encourage you to give yourself permission to pause, to reflect, and to make space for peace, for growth, but most importantly for you. And if anything in today's episode hits home, go ahead and drop some green hearts in the chat. That is our community's way of saying I am healing, I am growing, and I am showing up for me. Now, let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together. Again, I thank each and every one of you for being here. Let's see. Y'all, it's like I take one day off and then all of a sudden I get all tongue-tied and twisted. Like, we know the intro. What am I doing? What up, Raymond? I see you. Welcome in everybody on YouTube and Facebook. We see y'all. All right, y'all, let me get my life together because today I feel like I have another interesting topic for us. So today we're talking about something that I feel like a lot of us carry in silence. Something that we joke about online, but we tend to cry about when we're by ourselves. Something that we've normalized because that's just how, work is, right? When really it's wounding us more than we ever want to admit out loud. And if you're not currently dealing with it, I'm pretty sure that you have in the past. So I'm hoping that this content still resonates with you. But today we're going to talk about what happens when you're healing at home, but work, meaning like your job, keeps trying to break you back into who you used to be, right? We doing all the healing when we're at home, but when we get back to work, they trying to, revive the version of you who didn't have boundaries, the version of you who swallowed her voice just to keep her peace, the version of you who carried the entire team on their back because nobody else seems to want to step up. Or the version of you who accepted the disrespect as part of the job description. Anybody feel me? Like, I don't work a corporate job, but honey, I still be having to battle these demons because being a full-time content creator, I be having to deal with that too. You are most welcome, Legacy. Thank you so much for being here. See, nobody talks about that identity conflict of healing while working. Okay. It's like when you start your healing journey, you're honestly trying to evolve, right? But you're walking into environments that only recognize the old you. And y'all, we're talking about in the workplace, but this doesn't just mean at work, right? Because a lot of times this is also with our friends, our families, right? Our social media networks. It's like, we keep going back into these environments or these situations and places that only recognize the unhealed version of us, right? The compliant one, the overgiver, the quiet one, the version of you that didn't know that she deserved better. And let's keep it all the way real. Some of us have more emotional bruises from our jobs than we do from our relationships. Not because the work itself is hard. Hell, most of the time the job is easy. But it's because the people there are unhealed. unaccountable, and unchecked. And so some of us are just absolutely exhausted, not because life is heavy, but because we're constantly being tested by other people's egos, their projections, their undermining, right? And coworkers who see your growth as a threat to them instead of an inspiration. It's not burnout from the workload. It's not burnout from the job that we're doing, the content creating, the coaching, whatever it is. It is burnout from the emotional labor that nobody pays you for, right? It's the part of the job that you're not getting paid for. So if you've ever sat in your car and had to wipe away tears before you walked into the job, if you've ever pulled up to the building, put your car in park, and just sat there whispering, okay, God, I'm gonna need you to help me today. You're gonna have to give me patience, because Lord, if you give me strength, I'm gonna need bail money today, right? If you've ever turned off your camera on Zoom because you felt like, you felt yourself shutting down, you felt your social battery, draining, or if you've ever had to mute yourself mid-meeting just to coach your spirit, right? Just to get your spirit through the moment because you knew today might be the day I lose my job. Or if you've ever walked away from your desk, took a deep breath and stared at the ceiling, said, look, God, it's me again. I'm trying, right? So if you've ever been this person, if you are currently this person, or if you know this person, this is the right conversation for you. This episode is for the ones who are healing, who are growing, who are self-aware and evolving while still trying to survive in environments where healing isn't even a language. Again, don't think that we just have to apply this to the workplace. I'm going to reference the workplace a lot because I want to talk to my corporate folks, but this is for everyone in all situations. This episode is for the women who show up with grace, even when their environment shows up with chaos. This is for the ones who are protecting their peace, even when, the environment is doing everything it can to rob them of it. So before we begin, y'all, hey, Chrissy, let's take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale from your mouth. I want you to release your shoulders. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Release your shoulders, unclench your jaw, right? Come back home to yourself in this moment. All right. And remember, at any point in time, if the conversation resonates with you, drop green hearts in the chat. Green is symbolic of minority mental health awareness. And so we love the color green. Green also represents growth, right? So anytime you're around me, if you just want to show some love, if you want me to know that you are here, if I say something that resonates with you, that's why we throw the green hearts in the chat, you guys. So for all the newbies and you're like, why does she keep saying green hearts? It's because we growing, we healing together. And then Mars just loves the color purple, right? So Mars is going to throw purple hearts. And sometimes blue's going to come through and she's going to throw blue hearts. Shonda might throw purple too, Hey, listen, it's all love around here. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started, y'all. I want to talk about emotional warfare because I think that's something we don't talk about, right? Let's go ahead and call this thing exactly what it is, right? It's not workplace stress. That's too simple. That's what it might have started as, but it is no longer workplace stress. It is emotional warfare dressed up as business casual. It's the kind of battle that you fight with a smile on your face because professionalism won't let you react in the way that your spirit really wants to. It's getting hit with little moments that don't look big on the outside, but leave bruises internally in places that nobody sees but you. And I think the part that hurts the most is we don't walk in asking for problems. We walk in with the intent of getting our work done. right? Trying to grow, trying to stay in our lane, right? We walk in the place with the full intentions of minding our mental. But when you're healing, right? When you're conscious and aware and intentional, you start seeing everybody else's wounds more clearly too. It's like the deeper you get into your shadow work journey, the deeper that you get into your healing journey, it becomes easier for you to recognize all the unhealed people that surround you, right? It's the coworker who snaps at you because they can't manage their own stress. It's the supervisor who micromanages you because control is the only power that they know. It's the teamwork who competes with you, even though y'all aren't even in the same race. Or it's the peer who projects their insecurities onto you and calls it feedback, right? They want you to consider it as constructive criticism when really it's just their projections. It's the manager who corrects you harshly, but can't even take correction softly. Or what about that office gossip, right? The gossip that you cannot stand, and that gossip that cannot stand you because your peace, right? Your silence says more than their words ever could. And so now that you aren't interested in meeting them, at the water cooler to get some coffee, all of a sudden everybody's looking at you like you're the problem. And what makes it warfare is that it's constant, right? It's the constant little hits, little comments, little digs, little dismissals, right? A collection of moments that when they're stacked, they drain your joy, right? The job that you used to love, the job that you prayed for most times and that you were so thankful for when you were hired. Now, all of a sudden, they have robbed you, and it makes just even the simplest tasks feel like emotional marathons. You know the feeling when you hear your email notification and then your stomach drops? That's not normal. That's your nervous system sending you a memo that we are tired of being ambushed, right? Or, the feeling when your boss messages you or comes by and says, "Can we talk?" And then all of a sudden your mind starts racing through every single thing you've done in the last 2 weeks. Like immediately your brain is like, I'm about to get fired today. You trying to figure out for what? Because you thought you been good, right? That's not healthy. That is a trauma response disguised as professional awareness. And the moment how somebody asks, somebody at work interrupts what you're doing, they come over and they talk to you, or maybe they discredit you or downplay your contribution to the project, and you just sit there smiling because the old you would have lit that room up, honey, right? That unhealed, unhinged version of you would have threw all sorts of WTFs around the room, right? But the healing you is trying to choose peace. That right there, that's emotional warfare and emotional maturity at the same time. But I want to say this plainly for y'all. Choosing peace should never cost you your voice. And surviving work shouldn't feel like surviving people. Because half of the time, it's not the workload that's heavy. We can do the job in our sleep. It is the emotional disrespect you're shielding yourself from. Hey, vegan healer. It's knowing that someone's tone wasn't about work, right? They tried to pretend it was work related, but it really wasn't about work. It was about their unhealed childhood, their ego, their insecurities. And you just got hit with the shrapnel. It's navigating personalities that were never taught emotional intelligence. Many times it's us managing adults who throw tantrums in conference rooms. It's learning how to respond professionally when the energy of the room is anything but professional, right? The behavior they displayed, not professional. Vegan healer, I know you know what I'm talking about because we just talked about this, right? And the real truth that nobody says out loud is we're not tired of working. We're tired of working around dysfunction. You know, I left a whole social media app because I got tired of working in the middle of dysfunction. So again, this is not just about the corporate rooms, y'all. This is on social media too. This is your friend circles, your family, your communities. It's not that we don't love our friends. It's not that we don't love our family. It's not that we don't love our communities. We are just tired of the dysfunction that comes with it. We're tired of environments that reward toxic habits and then punish you for healthy boundaries. We're tired of environments where chaos is normal and emotional maturity is you doing too much. We're tired of carrying the weight of grace while other people carry the weight of entitlement. And so I showed up today to tell you that, sis, you are not too sensitive. You are just finally aware of what your spirit can and can't tolerate. You now understand the importance of capacity. And, you know, this is why we need to talk about this, right? This is why this episode matters. Because healing in a world that hasn't yet healed requires a strength that you don't get credit for. And you deserve to name that, to feel that, to breathe through that. Y'all make sure y'all tapping the screen if this is resonating with you. I see we up to 15K. Let's try to double it. Because next we're about to talk about healing in a house that was never designed for wholeness. Yeah, I told you we're going to talk about all the things today, right? So we talked about the workplace, but let's talk about healing in a house that was never designed for wholeness. Here's something else we don't say, right? Houses and workplaces, many of them were never built with healing in mind. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not mentally. They were never designed for it. And, you know, when we think about like the work culture, the corporate culture, things like that, they were designed for output, not overflow, right? They are created for productivity, not peace. Exactly. A home with no walls. You know what? I always be thinking, what's up, coach? I always be thinking, I can't even remember who sings the song, but remember that song, y'all, where he be like, car ain't got no roof. That's what I think about. So you call it a home with no walls, and I be over here trapping, singing, car ain't got no roof. But, you know, when you're on your healing journey, when you are the one who is self-aware, emotionally intelligent, and spiritually grounded, you start to see how unhealthy these environments really are. And it's not because you're different. It's because you're finally seeing things clearly. The moment that you begin healing, you stop being comfortable with the things that once felt normal. You hear sarcasm differently. You notice the manipulation faster. You feel the tension deeper, quicker. It's like we can recognize the disrespect immediately, right? I can see it coming a mile away. It's like healing gives you new eyes, right? And suddenly you can see the cracks in the foundation of the system that was never meant to hold your full humanity. So today we're going to be real. A lot of these environments operate like emotional deserts, right? They are dry, unforgiving, very much transactional, and spiritually dehydrated. But here you are, a whole entire oasis, softness, compassion, clarity, emotional strength in a place where patience is weaponized and empathy is mistaken for weakness, right? It's like your healing suddenly becomes a mirror and it reflects everything that people refuse to see about themselves. What's up, Auntie? Welcome in. And, suddenly as you continue to heal, now the people who you were once cool with, it was a vibe to be around them before, but now suddenly people feel threatened by your calm, right? They think that your boundaries are an attitude. They think that your silence is arrogance. They think that your self-awareness is a form of rebellion. When honestly, you just trying to protect the peace that you've spent years fighting for. Your growth challenges their comfort. Your self-respect confronts their avoidance. Your emotional intelligence exposes their emotional immaturity. And it's not intentional, but it is inevitable. It's got to happen. Right? And so the plot twist that nobody else has prepared you for, but I'm fitting to go ahead and spill the tea today, is that sometimes your healing automatically makes you the problem. It is what it is, right? It's going to make you the problem. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because you refuse to play this unspoken emotional game with everybody else, right? Things like laughing at unprofessional jokes just to fit in, tolerating the microaggressions just to keep the peace, overworking to prove your worth, staying quiet to avoid the conflict, accepting blame to keep the team moving, right? Taking one for the team, or even absorbing emotions that aren't your own. Welcome in, No Fear, No Doubt. Our brother in the house, y'all. Yeah, I can remember at work, huge thing. Black girls everywhere about to clutch their pearls, y'all. Listen. So I used to work for a chemical company that shall remain nameless because it's a non-factor, right? So I used to work for a company that was predominantly white male company. Obviously, I'm a minority. What up, brother man? Papa Smurf. Look at all the brothers come in. Would y'all just leave like the fellas convention and now y'all just gonna all stroll in at the same time? I see y'all. What up, Tip? So I can remember being at work and some of my non-melanated coworkers would be fascinated by my hair. Now, girls, y'all know we change our hair up all the time, right? I be long, I be short, I be braided, I be curly. I do what I do. That's what we do, right? So I can remember when I first got box braids, right? So I go into this and y'all, it was a big deal for me to even get my hair in box braids because I was like, oh my God, is this too urban? My name is already Shantae. I already deal with a lot of imposter syndrome and, this whole, am I being too extra sort of mentality. So it took a lot for me to even go ahead and get my hair in box braids, right? But I was like, fine, I'm gonna do it, right? So I got my hair braided, y'all, and I was feeling good. But ladies, y'all know when we get them braids, them first few days, that is sore. Don't even look at my braids too hard. My head hurts, right? But we understand that beauty is pain, so whatever. So anyways, I go to work, and I remember I went in the bathroom, and one of my non-melanated coworkers was in there. And she had just, I think I was at the sink washing my hands and she had just came out the stall. Do y'all know that this woman reached and was like, oh my God. And I had to like lean, like I had to pull a whole matrix on her because I seen her coming in, but my brain and my body were like not on, we were not aligned, y'all. And so this lady gonna pull my hair. Y'all listen, you just came out that stall. You nasty, first and foremost. But secondly, my hair is attached to my body. It is a part of me. I should just go to HR. But I could not articulate my words. I was like, OMG, like this lady just touched my hair. Like, who does that? Spark Motive, welcome in. See, I told y'all, all the fellas just left like some brothers convention somewhere, and now they all creeping in here. We on to y'all. Y'all was over there having a men's panel somewhere. We see y'all. But listen, so that was one time. Another time, y'all, okay, cool. I take my braids out. Now I'm rocking my natural hair. I got curly hair, right? So my hair is all curly, whatever. And to already separate myself from this place that I don't want to be, because I loved my job, but I ain't like my job, if y'all feel me. I love the work, but I ain't like my job. I ain't like the environment. And it did nothing for my imposter syndrome. It made me feel smaller. But that was a me thing, not a them thing. That was something that I had to work through. You know, so I ain't placing no blame. But anyway, so I got my natural hair out. Another one of my non-melanated coworkers comes over, y'all, and I got my headphones on because I'm trying my best to mind my mental, right? And she comes over and pats me on the head. Now, y'all, my little rear view mirror on my desk did not catch her. And so I got caught slipping again, and she done patted me on my head like a dog and was like, "Oh, that's my curly hair, girl." First and foremost, I ain't nobody's damn girl. Second of all, you ain't my girl. Right? And so at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm finna lose my job today. So I got up because at this point, this has happened like several times over the years. And I've played so quiet. Right? I would just smile and keep it moving because I didn't want to like ruffle any feathers. But like that head pat shit, I went right to my boss, who was a white male. Okay. I went right in his office and closed the door. Did not ask permission. Did not ask if he had the capacity because I was finna lose my shit. And I went in there and I politically correct lost my shit in front of him. And he was like, "I don't understand why they would have done that." You know? So even this white male was like, "Why would they touch your hair? Like, you don't do that, you know?" And I'm like, "Well, you're invited to the cookout because you understand." But I'm about to go confront them. And I think I know what I'm about to say, but I'm about to go confront them in this emotion because they need to understand what they're doing. And I feel like if I wait and allow this emotion to die down, yeah, honey, they done patted me on my head like a dog, baby. I felt like a dog. And all I could think was, don't dog walk her because you're going to lose your job today. And it's going to be embarrassing because you work on like the 23rd floor. Now security going to have to come and get you. It's going to be a whole to do. I got to call my husband to come and get me early. So anyways, I was like, I'm about to go confront them, but I'm coming in here to tell you because I've already told you all the stuff that has happened. I've reached my maximum capacity. I can't take it anymore and they need to hear me. So I'm going to approach them respectfully because I'm a grown woman and I can handle that. But I cannot tell you that they are going to reciprocate. And I just need you to be aware. So you may want to just be like in the vicinity so you can run interference. So y'all went over there and I was like, can you come with me? You too, come with me. And it ended up being 3 of them. And I was like, listen, I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and take one for the team by saying, I'm going to speak for all melanated women. We don't want you touching our hair. And I said, and as a person who was raised from a family that was from the South, we definitely are very big on, you don't have everybody's hands in your hair, right? And so I'm like, I believe that people can put roots on you and things like that. You don't touch my hair. Okay, like, honey, we in the generation of we burn our hair out the brush. We not just tossing it, throwing it away. Honey, don't let the birds get to it. All the things, right? But it is attached to my body. And unless you want to end up in HR for sexual harassment, because, honey, I am going to say that you SA'd me. Okay? You touch my hair again. Don't touch my hair. You know, so it's like, even in those environments where it's something that's so little, you know, and as I explain all of this to them, they're like, oh my God, well, I didn't pull it. I didn't say you pulled it, because if you'd have pulled it, I'd have punched you. Honey, if you'd have lifted that braid up on the first day of it getting braided, that would have probably been a fight. But at the end of the day, your intent doesn't erase the offense. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't understand in this world. Just because you didn't intend to hurt me, just because you didn't intend to disrespect me, doesn't mean I'm not disrespected. Right? Your intent doesn't erase the offense that has taken place. And so if you are sincere in your apology, then just simply say, I apologize. Don't say, well, that's not how I meant it. I don't care how you meant it. It is how I received it. Simply apologize and don't do it again. You know, so because I'm a person who believes that absolutely, inbox me so I can share my contact info with you, or you can just get it from the link in my bio, of course. But yeah, so it's like, I'm a person who believes in holding people accountable, right? And people can only be held accountable for the things they know. So that particular situation definitely cleared up. You know, nobody else wanted to touch my hair. And I don't think any other black girl has gotten her hair touched since then. Okay, because that's the type of take one for the team that I'm willing to do. Because again, when you start healing, like I said, y'all show up differently. You move differently, you speak differently, and you learn how to respond differently. Because again, that unhinged me, that unhealed me would have cussed everybody out. I'd have been walking through there like, F this job, right? FTJ all day. I was unemployed when I got here, so I'll do it again. Right? And so when you start being different, when you start acting differently, the environment notices. Right? People were a lot quicker with the highs and buys. Hey, Marissa. You know, and I didn't care because really I wasn't y'all's friend anyway. Like, I've had to tell several coworkers, listen, you're cool and all, but I applied for a job, not friendship. Baby, I got friends. I got plenty of friends. So, you know, even though you cool, I'm never coming to happy hour. It's not me. This is not my home, right? This car ain't got no roof. Right? That house ain't got no walls. So I don't feel home here. So I'm going to have to decline. And I fully understand that you were willing to pay for it, but I didn't say I wasn't coming because I couldn't afford it. What I can't afford is to lose my peace with y'all, right? Because healed energy, you know, that energy feels really foreign to people who thrive on dysfunction. And again, misery loves company. So if you're not careful, they'll drag you back in. And that old you, right? That still lives in there. Because at some point, at any point, we have to defend ourselves. Oh, Helen is pulling up. That unhinged Shantae gonna show up. And you know, even if we took that a bit deeper, right? Think about the moment that you start honoring yourself. You start making the unhealed people feel hella uncomfortable. And it's not because that you're doing anything extra. It's because that you're finally doing what was necessary. You're no longer over functioning as a black woman, right? The one who used to carry everybody emotionally. You're no longer the go along to get along woman who shrinks herself to fit in the room that is not meant for her. You're no longer that silent sufferer who internalizes the disrespect just to keep their job. Because now you've evolved, right, queens? You've matured. You've awakened. And when the environment stays the same, then the tension becomes undeniable. What's up, JC? Healing doesn't shift your home life. It doesn't just shift your home life. It shifts how you walk into work. It shifts how you respond to chaos, how you choose your peace, and how you protect your spirit. So when you get them, hey, big head texts, right? Them, oh, how you doing? How your family doing? How your mama doing? You can respond accordingly because you ain't been worried, right? You ain't been caring how I've been doing. I ain't been crossing your mind, right? Welcome in, butterfly, or welcome back, butterfly. So it's like, you know, tell them, stand on it. Keep that same energy. So for anybody who is wondering, why it suddenly feels harder to be in the same places, the same spaces with the same people, why, the same old things now irritate you differently, why you feel out of place in rooms that you once blended in. That is because your healing has elevated you. Exactly. Be intentional all the time, right? And your healing has now elevated you. It has taken you to a whole nother level, which is beyond the environment, right? It's more than that environment was designed to hold. And that's not a problem. That is clarity. Okay? That is clarity. Now listen, y'all, I hope I'm filling up somebody's cup today. And while I'm continuing to pour into you guys, please consider refilling my cup. Grab your daily heart me. Consider dropping a gift or two. It ain't got to be much, y'all. Right? But iron sharpens iron. I'm going to fill your cup up. Y'all fill my cup up. That's what we do. Fill it up. Come on. Let me pour into you a little bit. So let's talk about the unhealed people at work. Right? We going to get all over them today, y'all. Because one thing about unhealed people, they do not need a name tag. Okay? They do not need a job title for you to recognize them. You see them for exactly what they are. Thank you for the follow, love. Right? Their behavior introduces them long before they can even open their mouth. And when you're healing, right? When your spirit is tuned in and aligned and intentional, you can spot unhealed energy from a mile away, right? It hits different. It feels different. It shows up in ways that shake your peace if you're not grounded. Y'all know the people I'm talking about, because today I'm pointing fingers. I'm being that one. I'm talking about the coworker who's mad at the world and she spreads energy like it's a virus. Like she just toxic as hell because Tyrone done pissed her off. Or the manager that confuses leadership with control because nobody's ever taught them the difference. Or the peer who projects every single insecurity that they have onto people. Right? They project their insecurity onto you the moment you start shining. Or what about the coworker who doesn't communicate? Right? They have no grasp of what capacity is. They just show up and they dump and dramatize and destabilize every single thing that you've been working to build. I just named half your office. I ain't done yet. Let me pick up the other half real quick, Mabel, because I don't want nobody to feel left out today, sis. So let's talk about the one who wants to be the office favorite so bad that they start sabotaging everybody around them. Y'all, I had one at work and I called her the bus driver. Okay? Like, I literally called her BD, bus driver. Because, honey, that will run over anybody. And she'll get you going and coming. Y'all seen that? I don't even remember what the Lifetime movie was, but it was this Lifetime movie and this lady had ran somebody over. And then she looked in the rearview mirror and seen the person roll over and move. And so she backed back over them. Y'all, that was the bus driver. And it was so crazy because she was an older lady. I'm like, ain't you too old for this shit? But listen, that did not stop her from beep, beep. Listen, she ain't hunked the horn, no nothing, y'all. She keep it moving. Run right over you. Or what about the gossip crew that don't even like each other, but they've trauma bonded over their drama? Danny did that too. Yeah, you're right. Danny did that too. Right? So it's like all of a sudden now at work, people have trauma bonded over their drama. Like, no, because, my baby daddy did this. Oh, well, but mine did this. Like, they got to one up each other on drama. Or you'd be like, oh, I'm sad from this. And I'm like, but I'm sad about that. Girl, can I just be sad? Like, do I have to take on your sadness too? Do I need your drama too? Or what about the ones who, when you confront them, they say, that's just how I am. Right? My favorite people like that, when they be like, that's just how I am. Yeah. It's the Zodiac people. Y'all know the people who be like, Girl, it's because I'm an Aquarius. That's just how I am. You know, she a Capricorn. That's why she do that. Them damn Geminis. That's just how they are. Y'all, I can't stand them people. I know I joke around with my zodiac folks, but y'all know the people I'm talking about. People who have just been toxic for so long, and everybody's like, oh girl, don't pay her no mind. That's just how they are. Right? So again, those ones who just call it, that's just what I am, when really what it is this emotional maturity that we've developed. And now we see just how immature and unhealed everyone around us is. And, you know, so you look at all these toxic people, right? And here you are, right? This little beacon of light, this little ray of sunshine, who'd have been, you know, vibing with the good people and the cool people, sipping your water. You trying to stay hydrated, minding your business, protecting your aura, right? While everybody else is just spiritually dehydrated and emotionally disordered. Yeah, they love to dismiss bad behavior. They tell you, move differently, move around. Don't worry about them. Just go to your office and ignore them. Like, what? See, the thing that people don't understand is that when people don't deal with their trauma deals with you. And at work, it deals with you during the projects and the deadlines and the meetings and the Slack messages and the quick chats, right? Some folks clock in, but their coping skills never show up. Some folks show up for work looking grown, but emotionally, they're still that very wounded child, trying to feel important, trying to feel validated and in control. And that's why their emails be paragraphs long. That's why they hold meetings that could have been emails. That's why they send messages with attitude. Or that's why they nitpick every single thing you do. That's why they take every single suggestion that you make personally. They want to table that for later. And that's honestly why they tear down others instead of going to heal themselves. Right? Because it's easier for them to tear you down and make you feel, you know, something other than amazing, because they do not want to address the fact that they are toxic AF and that they need a little bit of therapy and a whole lot of Jesus. But another thing that I've noticed about unhealed people is that they are so daggone predictable, right? When they cannot regulate themselves, they try to regulate you. But I need for you guys to hear me when I say that somebody else's lack of healing is not your assignment. You cannot be concerned with what people do. Okay? It is not your responsibility. It is not your burden, and it is not your job description. Your healing may trigger them, but their triggers are not your truth. Your growth might expose them, but their discomfort is not your problem. See, when you start healing, again, you're going to show up differently. You're going to communicate differently, react differently, protect yourself differently. And that difference makes you stand out in a space where dysfunction is the norm. Now that you're healing, you don't match energy, right? You're no longer matching energy. That used to be the thing for a while. But now that you actually started healing, you don't match energy. You just manage yours. You don't clap back. You breathe back. You don't absorb, you observe, right? You don't minimize yourself. You just maintain yourself. I'm going to keep it cute. And trust me, the people notice, right? So if you have been feeling that shift, if you have been sensing tension that you did not create, if you have been feeling like your presence is disrupting somebody else's demons, I just showed up today to let you know that your healing is simply exposing what habits that they've been hiding. And that's not your business. You're supposed to just keep healing. You are supposed to stay the course and do all of the amazing things that God has called you to do. And none of it was to manage other people's problems. Because again, their triggers are not your truth. And listen, y'all know I'm really big on talking about the strong one because, baby, I done been a strong one for so long that I'm ready to be like, take me off the front line. Put me on the shut in list. Don't add me to the sick list, but just shut in. I just want to be shut in for just a few weeks, right? Because there's a tax that comes with being the strong one, right? And I know I'm not the only strong one, right? So I'm talking to you, the one who carries everybody at work and other environments without ever saying a word about how heavy it is. The one who smiles through their stress. The one who keeps showing up even when your spirit is at about 2%. The one who gets things done because nobody else will. I need for you to understand that there is a tax that comes along with being the strong one. And most of us have been paying this tax for years without even realizing that we never even signed up for that subscription. Baby, I ain't never asked to be the strong one. Just kind of a role that I got through into. But now that I done kept my receipt and I started looking at the receipt instead of just balling it up and, putting it in my purse, I'm starting to see how much this tax is. And I'm starting to go back and do the math because, we got healed girl math, right? So I'm going back and I'm doing the math and I'm realizing that no matter how many times I add this and this, it doesn't equal peace. And, the tax, it ain't showing up on my paycheck. It shows up in my peace, in my patience, in my mentality. And I know y'all know exactly what I'm talking about because you're the one that everybody vents to during lunch. Because somehow all of a sudden you became everybody's emotional safe space for the entire department. You're the one they send the frustrated clients to because you're so patient and you're so calm and you always know what to say. Which translation just means you can handle disrespect better than we can. Like you like to be disrespected. You're the one who holds the team together when things get messy. You're the one who runs the meeting when the leadership drops the ball. You're the one who sees the problem, solves the problem, and still gets treated like you're the problem. Just because you spoke up. You're the one who gets told, I don't know what we would do without you, but somehow they find a way to overload you. Because being the strong one means that you're the unofficial therapist. You're the unassigned motivator. You are the unacknowledged backbone of the team. What up, Twista? But here's the truth that nobody else is going to tell you out loud. Being the strong one is not a job description. You can pull your job description. You can go to HR and ask them to pull the handbook and show you the strong one section. Y'all, I worked in HR. It does not exist. There is no strong one clause, right? When you look at your paycheck and you see all the things that you were paid for, your hours, your overtime, your, different tiers of pay. When you look at all the taxes, there ain't no strong one on there. So being the strong one is not a job title. It is not a job description. And you are allowed to resign from emotional labor that does not pay you. And you have permission to tell them that. Hard pass. Not doing that. Right? At my job, they used to try to do this thing at the end of the month when I worked in the accounting department. They would do this thing because, month end in accounting or in AP is crazy, and so we had to stay there late and we had to stay there until the job was done. So until that very last invoice was processed, we would be there. Sometimes it'd be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, right? So they would buy us lunch with the expectation that we were going to work through lunch. Baby, no, I'm going to eat your lunch and I'm going to take an hour break. Cause the hell you talking about? And I just work like 12 hours, 10 hours. I'm going to take a break. By law, I got to take a break. So I'm going to take this little sub, right? I'm going to take this sub. I'm going to eat this sub at my desk while I'm working, just like you want me to. And then I'm taking my hour break. See you. Bye. What's up, Ashley? So again, you are allowed to say, no, I can't take that on. No, that's not my responsibility. No, I'm not absorbing anybody's mood but my own today. Again, my favorite word is capacity. I just tell people, hey, you know what? I don't have the capacity for that today. I looked at my workload today and it already looks pretty full. So I don't have the capacity to take on somebody else's work today. And I understand that they called off, but that's what managers are for, right? So it sounds like a manager thing, not a me thing. Now, am I going to get that person's check? Because baby, if I'm going to get that person's check, like if I'm going to get paid a 2-for-1, I will gladly handle my work and the bus driver's work, right? So again, you are allowed to protect yourself from the emotional dumpers who treat you like a drain, and that includes your boss. You are allowed to stop volunteering for emotional rescue missions that don't serve you. You are allowed to walk away from conversations that leave you spiritually empty. You are allowed to stop fixing what you did not break. Because again, let's be real. Half the time, these people aren't venting to you because they respect you. They're venting to you because you're the only person who will listen. But listening without limits is self-abandonment. And I really believe that we've healed too much to continue doing that, right? We've healed too much to keep letting people's chaos sit in our spirit like it pays rent. The strong one is allowed to rest. The strong one is allowed to exit stage left, to leave the front lines. The strong one is allowed to choose his or herself. And I'm going to say this with love. If you leave today, if you die today, the job is going to replace you within 2 weeks. Before you are in the ground or successfully cremated, somebody else has already been assigned your role. So don't let the place that is replaceable convince you that you aren't. Okay? Now, if any of this conversation is hitting home, I need for you guys to repost this on social media, right? Because we are not the only ones. There are a whole community of strong ones out there trying to figure out like what the F is going on. Exactly, Mars. They're just gonna move right on in. You like, hold on, the truck ain't even loaded with my stuff and y'all already ready to move in. So again, let's make sure we get this message out there for the other strong ones who need it. We need to let them know that there is a whole community of people here ready to encourage and empower, right? That we have a amazing safe space, because we do, right? Like this is a nice space. Oh Lord, I've been on a rant. We at 50 something minutes, y'all. I'm gonna try to cram another part in because I want to talk about boundaries. Y'all know I don't do nothing without talking about boundaries, because that's what I do. So I want you guys to understand that your boundaries don't need permission slips. Okay? Your boundaries at work do not need an explanation, a justification, or a permission slip. Period. When you're healing, one of the first things that you learn is that peace comes with a price. And that price is usually disappointing the people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. And so at work, boundaries make people uncomfortable because it forces them to face the reality that they've been avoiding, which is you're no longer somebody's yes woman, right? You're no longer the go-to fixer. You're no longer the I'll do it, don't worry about it person that they got used to manipulating. So I want to talk about what boundaries really look like in the workplace full of unhealed, toxic people. first and foremost, it's deciding that after 5 p.m., your soul is clocking out, whether your email is caught up or not. It's you no longer over explaining your decisions to people who question everything you do, but never hold themselves accountable. Oh yeah, absolutely. Honey, these families is jobs too. Hey, Arma. It's you letting the email sit, not because you're being petty, but because the urgency is not the same as importance. It's you saying, I'm not available for that, without trembling, without a guilty apology. It's you choosing not to join every office debate, every heated conversation, every pointless gossip session or happy hour, right? Because y'all know I'd be like, I'm not coming to happy hour. Anything that drains your spirit more than the job itself, you're not required. You don't have to do it. It's you no longer taking on extra tasks just because you do it so well. Let them know that practice makes perfect. And if they would do it a little bit more, they would do it so well too. Because when they say you do it so well, what they really mean is that we want you to do more work for the same pay. Don't fall for it. Boundaries sound like that doesn't work for me. Like I said, my favorite is I don't have the capacity right now. I can assist, but I will not take ownership. Or my personal favorite, when I got to HR and I had to learn how to, CYA, cover your, right? My favorite one was, I'm going to need that request in writing. Because see, people like to pull up and ask you to do things verbally when there's no receipt. But baby, I like receipts and I like to keep receipts. So I'm like, well, for accountability purposes, can you send me that request in writing? Because baby, I'm going to take it right to who I need to take it to. And be like, well, so-and-so sent me this email stating that it was mandatory that I stayed here until all the emails were clear or all the invoices were done. Is that not the case? Because I did go through the handbook and I didn't see where that was. And, when I got hired, I didn't recall them telling me that there would be mandatory overtime. So like, yeah, everybody need a CYA or a CMB folder, honey. Because listen, the thing about a healed person with boundaries, it is so powerful and intimidating, right? Because when you're a healed woman with boundaries and, it's all of a sudden you're not moved by fear, approval, or manipulation anymore. Hey, Dina or Dinah, I don't know how you pronounce it. Let me know. When you're a healed woman or a healed man, you start moving from alignment and clarity and self-worth. What up, Jenny? Angela, welcome in. And listen, once you start protecting your peace, people are going to swear you've switched up. But the truth is that they were the ones that were just benefiting from the old you, right? And the healed you doesn't serve their comfort anymore. So they're less than interested. But again, I'm here to remind you that you having boundaries does not make you unprofessional. Your boundaries are not an attitude. Your boundaries are not a rebellion. Your boundaries are your birthright. Your boundaries are you choosing you. And they're proof that you are no longer betraying yourself to belong somewhere that was draining you. And anybody who has a problem with your boundaries is someone who has been comfortable with the fact that you did not have them before. So again, it is okay to understand that, as human beings, we all grow at different paces. But the expectation should not be that I have to stick around back here because you haven't made it up here yet. Drop some green hearts in the chat if this is speaking to you, if you know exactly what I'm saying. Those green hearts let me know that you're choosing you this season, because that's what it's all about, right? Choosing you. And, we have to understand that sometimes our spirit outgrows spaces, guys. There comes a moment in every, healing person, healing woman, healing man's journey where the problem stops being the job or the environment, right? It's the energy within that environment. It's the way your spirit feels heavy as soon as you walk into the door. Y'all, the holidays is coming up, and I know y'all know what I'm talking about because Thanksgiving dinner be toxic for some of y'all, right? It's the way your body reacts before your mind can catch up when you enter the room of family, right? But the reason why you feel that, yeah, girl, not me either, honey. Unsubscribe, return to sender. I will not be there. I don't need you to wrap me up a plate either. I made my own, respectfully, right? But, you know, when you're healing, your spirit knows when you've outgrown places. It knows before your paycheck does. It knows before your boss does. It knows before you are ready to even admit it out loud. Sometimes the real issue, like I said, isn't the workload or the meetings or the tasks. It's the way the environment keeps calling for an older version of you that you've already buried. You ever been sitting at your desk and suddenly you feel this deep internal whisper saying, I don't belong here anymore, right? Welcome in, Banshee. And I don't mean like in an arrogant way, just in a peaceful, very matter of fact way, right? That soul shifting kind of way. Healing makes you sensitive, not a weak sensitive. But I'm talking about where you start picking up on things that your unhealed self couldn't recognize. When the energy in the room is off, when the tone behind the emails or text messages is quite disrespectful. When micromanagement is really out of fear, you can peep that. When the tension is being projected onto you and suddenly your intuition says something here is not right. Something is not aligned here anymore. It doesn't mean you're dramatic. You're not ungrateful. You're not doing too much. It just simply means that your spirit is refusing to shrink back into a space that it has already outgrown. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes your soul just simply closes a chapter long before your mind catches up. And you start feeling it in ways that you can't even explain. It's like all of a sudden you're drained by things that once felt normal. Irritated by patterns that you used to tolerate. You lose passion for certain tasks, certain conversations or get-togethers. You know, things that you used to enjoy, things that you used to excel at. And now suddenly you feel off or over it or out of place, even when everything looks the same on the surface. But contrary to what people tell you, that's not laziness. That's not you being emotional. That is you gaining clarity, because your healing is elevating you. And the room that you're walking into is still operating at a level that you have already prayed to leave behind. Welcome in, Rara. And again, what most people won't say out loud is that sometimes God will let the environment get uncomfortable so you don't settle there anymore. Some rooms are too small for your next level. Some coworkers cannot go where you're going. Some positions are beneath the woman that you are becoming. Some opportunities are outdated versions of what you once needed. Favorite things, welcome in. Thank you for sharing the live. So again, I'm here today just to tell you that you are not failing. You are transitioning. You are not losing interest. You are gaining clarity. You are not switching up. You are stepping up. And when you feel yourself outgrowing the spaces, do not shrink. Rich risings, love. Do not shrink. Don't dim your light. Don't deny it. trust that your spirit knows, because your elevation is never accidental. You leveling up is on purpose. The chrysalis phase is hard, but you know that the next phase is so beautiful and it is so necessary. Sometimes we have to be completely broken down, right? It has to get so uncomfortable in a situation. Think about people who are in abusive relationships. On the outside, we're like, why don't she leave? Why don't he get out of it? Right? Why is he still stay with his baby mama if it's drama? Some situations have to break you completely down so there's nothing for you to return to. Sometimes life has to completely destroy everything you know, so you have no reason to come back. No reason whatsoever. So I need for you to trust that your spirit knows, because elevation is never accidental. Now, I want you guys to tag somebody that you see in the room. Go pick somebody that you see in the room. And I just simply want you to tell them that I see you. Tag somebody in the chat and say, I see you. Because there is somebody else who is navigating this same transition. Something that you needed. Look, Arma said I needed this. Right? Favorite things needed this. Mabel stumbled in accidentally on purpose. Right? Because I know that each and every one of you are in a season of changing. Otherwise, you would have changed the stream a long time ago. Because I know positivity don't be trending. Toxic energy is what everybody loves. So if you're here, then I know that you're changing, that you are growing, that you are evolving. And this space is created so you know that you're not alone while you're doing it. Because we are healing out loud, right? We are growing in a community. So again, I want you to see each other. I want you to see yourself in each other, because each and every one of us, we all have trauma. We've all been through some things, y'all. We all still got a lot more things to go through if we lucky. So again, we need to just learn how to collectively stay grounded when chaos, clocks in early. Right? Grounding is so important, because when you are in an environment, in a space full of unhealed people, such as TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, we are surrounded by unhealed people. And so you have to create a spiritual routine that keeps you from losing yourself. It's not enough to just get through the day anymore. It is not enough to just get by. I see you too, Blue. It's not enough for us to just get by anymore, right? Talib Kweli wrote the song about it. He just trying to get by. I'm done trying to get by. Each and every one of you deserve to move through your day, drinking water, sip your water, hold tight, y'all. I need to make sure y'all hear me and my voice can't tremble. Hold on. Oh, my bad. Fill your cup. And I promise I'm going to wrap it up real quick, y'all. It's not enough for us to just to get by anymore. Each and every one of you deserve to move through your days with intention and protection and peace. Right? Stay hydrated, my friends. And in order for us to do that, it requires us to arm ourselves with tools that center us, that regulate you, that keep your energy from being hijacked. And so here are just a few grounding practices that don't just sound good, but they actually work when the environment is doing the absolute most. Okay. So number one, I want you to protect your morning before work even touches it. And what I mean by that is, before you check your emails, Teams or anything else, I want you to check in with you. This goes for our text messages and our phones, because I know we live in a society of content creators, right? Before you pick up the phone and you tune in, I need for you to check in with you first. Your morning should be your sanctuary, not a pregame for stress. Hey, Iris. So when I say that your morning should be your sanctuary, you need to start your day by praying, meditating, sitting alone, journaling, sketching, speaking affirmations. You need to do something that is speaking life over you. Okay? Give your spirit something solid to stand on before the world tries to shake it. So again, before you pick up the phone, before you check the weather, before you go through anything for anybody else, I don't care if you were married, you got kids, before you show up for anybody else, I need for you to show up for you. Absolutely. I need for you to show up for you intentionally, on purpose. I don't want you to stumble into prayer. I want you to purposely do it. What up, Britt? Next, I need you to set the tone for the day, not the office. When you walk in, I want you to walk in with your grounded energy. I don't want you to walk in rushed, not chaotic, not reactive, right? Let your presence declare, I'm here, but not for anything that isn't mine, right? I'm here, but I'm not absorbing anything that is not mine. I already came in with enough, and respectfully, I left what wasn't part of my job at the door. So I'm not going to absorb any energy that does not belong to me. I got my own. And in order to maintain that, you have to build a boundary around your peace. And to do that, you have to understand that you are not for everyone. We is not for the streets, y'all. Everybody doesn't get access to your energy. You must be intentional about who you allow to experience you. Welcome in, Wana. And that's not being selfish. That is being intentional. So I need for you to save your emotional availability for people who actually honor it. You don't owe anyone your openness. You don't owe anyone access to you. Make sure that you are taking emotional breaks, not just bathroom breaks, not just smoke breaks, y'all. But step outside. Go sit in your car. Go somewhere quiet. I used to walk laps around the building. I worked downtown. So, I would just walk laps around the building. Sometimes you don't need, a moment away from work. You just need a moment away from the energy there. It's not that we don't want our families. We just don't want the energy that many of our families bring. So you have to take emotional breaks. That is virtually, that is in our real life, that is our home life, our work life. You need to take breaks. And a very big one is, please stop trying to fix people who don't want to fix themselves. You have to stop expecting you from them. And when I say stop trying to fix people, you are not the emotional janitor. You are not the workplace counselor. You cannot heal what people are committed to keeping broken. So do your job and go home. Protect your boundaries. Protect your spirit. And another one that's really big, don't argue with projections. Some folks aren't responding to you. They're just reacting to their own reflection. Because remember, as you heal, you are a mirror, reflecting to them what they don't want to see. So you don't have to prove your intentions to someone whose insecurities won't let them see clearly. Home Team Hustle, welcome in. Thank you so much. And again, make sure that you guys are anchoring yourself throughout the day. And when I say anchoring yourself, sit up straight, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, breathe deep, breathe slow. And Put your affirmations around your desk. Things that say like, I am safe. I am centered. I am choosing peace. Many of us don't have the luxury of, putting a candle or hell, burning sage throughout the building, because Lord knows they need it. So what I used to do at work, I would have essential oils and I would rub it on my wrist. So when I would start getting stressed out, y'all would see me do this. Because I need to smell the peppermint oil so I can calm down. Right? They have bracelets that are made out of lava rocks, and they have masculine ones too, fellas. And then you drop the essential oil onto the lava stones, the rocks on the bracelet, and it absorbs it. It's a great fidget too, right? So again, you have to do things to affirm yourself. Like I always say, I love having a self-care tool bag. Make you a go bag, y'all. Okay? Make you a bag. Mars, try peppermint with wild orange. Peppermint with blood orange. Peppermint with orange honey. That peppermint and orange together, chef's kiss. But again, do things to anchor yourself, because these grounding moments is what keeps you from spiraling into emotional exhaustion. They allow you to stay present and aware and whole. Oh my gosh, are you serious? I love peppermint everything, but I feel you. Do you like eucalyptus? Because eucalyptus and orange is good too. But do things that help you stay grounded. If you're able to listen to music, create your playlist. Right? Get your Room2Breathe playlist. Figure out what it is that you need. And end your day the way you started. Right? We woke up with intention. We woke up with a purpose. Let's end the day with the same way we started, with intention. Cleanse your spirit before you walk back into your home. When I used to come home from work and my husband would be like, babe, how was your day? How was work? And I used to just look at him and say, work was work. And it wasn't because I couldn't trust him with the conversation. It was, I've already survived it and lived through it. We don't need to talk about it. I didn't even want the tea when they served it there. So I don't want to come here in our space and spill the tea that I didn't drink. So you have to be sure to cleanse your spirit before you walk back into your home. Release the day. Don't allow the workplace chaos to ride shotgun on your way home. What happened at work stays at work, right? Your peace doesn't clock out. Because healing while working is not always easy. It does take strength and awareness and boundaries and courage. But most of all, it takes you choosing yourself on purpose. I'm constantly saying every single thing that we do, we need to do it on purpose with a purpose. Every single day. So I hope that, I hope that this conversation is blessing someone. I hope that this conversation is empowering someone, or simply just reminding someone that their worth was already established at birth and they don't need to keep showing up in environments where they're not celebrated. Now, I'm not telling y'all to quit y'all's job. Okay? Don't quit your job and then inbox me telling me that you can't pay the rent, because that's not what I said, and I will direct you to the replay. That's not what I said. Okay? That's not what I said. But to tell the people, that's not what I said. Okay? But what I am saying is that the goal is no longer to just survive the workplace. The goal is to stay you in the workplace. And I'm not talking about the masked version, not the watered down version, not the let me shrink so everybody else don't feel threatened version, not the let me soften my voice so they don't call me the angry black woman version. I'm talking about that healed version of you, the aware you, the grounded you, The version of you that fought to be here. Okay? Not Room to Breathe told me to tell y'all to kick rocks. I mean, we do support the FTJ community. Okay? So, I mean, if you know, you know. But the mortgage company or your landlord might not align with that. So, not Blue quit. Talk about, let me go call my boss back. I mean, I'm just saying, I tell y'all to tell them that PTO stands for prepare to others, because I'm not coming today. But y'all could take a mental health day today for the podcast, but then tell them you'll be back tomorrow. Don't just quit your job. We need to make a plan first, y'all. Y'all got to have some goal planning sessions. We can't just do it cold turkey if your bank account ain't aligned. Just say that, psych. This is your job. Cool. God bless the admins and moderators, right? But again, you guys, for too long, I think that we've just been flying under the radar, and we don't have to anymore. Welcome, Chris. So, if nothing else, healing teaches you that you don't have to abandon yourself to be valuable. Right? Cool. F it. I mean, I'm just saying. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow then, since you ain't got no job. You done quit on your day off. I mean, cool. Same time, same place tomorrow then. Shoot. The real win comes from when you can walk away from, that same environment with the same energy that you went in there with, not adopting someone else's energy. The real win happens when you can say, I choose me wherever you are. Not just at home, but wherever you are. Girl, you ain't miss it. You just showed up to let me know you was headed to YouTube to watch the replay. Quit playing with me. Y'all can't never miss nothing with me, because what's for you is for you. And nobody can take it from you, because it's going to be on YouTube. So I got you, girl. I'll send you the link as soon as we're done. The way your bank account is set off. Yeah. But we can change how we show up and do the job, Arma. All right. And remember, guys, your evolution is not an apology tour. Your growth is not a threat. It is a blessing. Your peace is not a luxury. It is a lifestyle. You deserve to work in places that honor the person that you're becoming. You deserve friend groups and communities that honor the person you're becoming. And so if you've had roles as the fixer, the buffer, the peacekeeper, the strong one, the silent one, the dependable one, the one that she'll figure it out, right? I want you to know, if nothing else, I want you to remember from this podcast that you are allowed to retire those roles effective immediately. So for those of you who want to call your boss and just want to let them know, I'm going to be at work tomorrow, but I'm no longer the fixer, the buffer, the strong one, the peacekeeper, the dependable one. And I have zero intentions on figuring it out, because I already got it figured out. You are allowed to retire those roles. You are allowed to evolve beyond the expectations that were placed on you before you even knew who you were truly. So again, if you are in a season of healing and realigning and rediscovering yourself, I want you to understand that you are not failing. You are not too sensitive. You are not the problem. You are simply growing into a version of yourself that these environments were never prepared to handle. Not we roll into downtown Federal. Y'all, I think y'all misunderstood the assignment, because now y'all ready to set it off. Like, what are we doing? What have I created? Let me get to this closing before we need bail money, because Mars done took this to a whole nother level. And Brooks probably done picked up on that. So she like, let's go. What are we doing, y'all? Listen. Let's breathe. Let's just take a deep breath. Let's really rethink things, you guys. don't take the cute inhale, exhale. I want you guys to really just take a moment to breathe seriously. Now we not setting it off, Shonda. Daggone it. Y'all, we going to jail. We going to jail. Listen, we got things to do. We got goals to meet, y'all. We can't get locked up. Although we would probably look really cute in orange, y'all, and then we would have like matching outfits. But I mean, that's a whole nother level of toxicity, and I don't want it. Okay. All my life, I already had to fight. I don't want to go there and fight again. Okay. So I want you guys to take a deep breath, a real breath. And when I say a real breath, it's the kind that reminds your body that you're safe. Not we're just new black. Take a breath, girl. Okay. You will be dazzling. Y'all so twisted today. Not y'all be dazzling. Wait, can I take my Crocs to prison? Can y'all just make sure I get some gibbets on my prison slides though? Cause I'm with that. We healing in green. Okay. Listen, take a breath, people. The kind of breath that reminds your body that it is safe now. The kind that reminds your mind that you are growing. The kind that reminds your spirit that you have survived every single version of you that tried to break in the process. Because again, the truth is you are not the same person that you were yesterday. That your past does not define you. You're not the same person you were a year ago. You're not even the same person you were six months ago. Right? You have now cracked open parts of you that used to hide. You have learned to name feelings that you were taught to ignore. You have replaced surviving with thriving. Right? You found awareness. And you've now started choosing yourself in moments where you used to abandon yourself without hesitation. So again, your healing is not a liability in any space. Your healing is actually your superpower. You are now walking in rooms, with an emotional intelligence that people cannot fake. You hold conversations with a level of clarity that people cannot imitate. You set boundaries with confidence that they didn't expect you to have. So again, it may make some people uncomfortable. It may disrupt some dynamics. It may force some people to adjust. But that is not your problem. That is not your burden. That's your impact. We are the change that we want to see. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to bend until you break. You are not here to babysit somebody else's emotional immaturity. You are not here to shrink to make someone else feel tall. You are here to honor yourself. You are here to protect your peace. You are here to expand, evolve, and elevate, even in spaces that weren't designed with your healing in mind. So as you move through the rest of this week, I just want you to remember that you don't have to tolerate what drains you in any environment. You do not have to shrink for somebody else's comfort. You do not have to apologize for your boundaries. And you do not have to dim your light or your vision to match somebody else's blindness. You are healing out loud. Okay? And that woman who used to suffer in silence, baby, old Helen is gone. Okay? And again, if this episode poured into you, please let me know. Okay? Let your presence speak back to, the space that's been speaking into you. You can do that by going over to YouTube and sharing this out. Post it on your social media. Right? In fact, when we log off, I want you to go to my page, wherever you're listening from, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I want you to go to my page and just interact with the last 3 posts. like, comment, share. Okay? Just pick three of the recent posts and interact with it. Let's feed this algorithm the same way that we're feeding our healing, intentionally, on purpose. As we get ready to part ways, I always like to leave you with a little extra love and light. As always, I'm going to encourage you to keep breathing through the highs, the lows, and every single moment in between. I need you to keep choosing peace, even if it feels out of reach. And to remember that here at the Self-Care Club, you will always be seen, always valued, and always supported. So don't you ever be afraid to take up space, speak your truth, and make a little room for you to breathe. I love each and every one of you to life, and I am praying that your day is not just amazing, but aligned, intentional, and absolutely on purpose, filled with nothing but purpose. This has been another Room to Breathe podcast, and I cannot wait to connect with you all again soon. Thank you.